leftist activist women are finished as they continue to destroy their own jobs. So I saw a video by Better Bachelor. Joker's been really going hard the last couple of weeks. Let's give it up to Joker. We're going to check out the video. The link to his channel is in the description of this video. I mean, it's very interesting what's happening right now. We have all of these broke girls crying on social media. Many of them thought that they were going to be girl bosses, and now they're out here begging men for money, but then at the same time, saying that they want lots and lots of that money, and they're going into their soft girl era. The craziest thing is that we've seen the soft guy era is a major clapback to this, as men are now focusing on self-care, self-preservation, and in some cases actually exploiting women, taking thousands of dollars or even tens of thousands of dollars from these women. And we're not just talking about straight up Chads and straight up Tyrones. No, some just general dudes are getting their money right now. You have to consider this. Women only like 5% of men in Western society, and they're all competing for the same 1% of men. Even when they get married to a Plan B guy, that's that other 95%. Those are just beta male providers for them. Right? Now what's happening is most men are beginning to step away, and they're like, you know what? If you want it, then you better, you need to pay for it. This is literally something that MK Fitness said, not too long ago, where he's like, D ain't free. DICK ain't free, just like the kitty ain't free, DICK ain't free. Let's jump into the video by Better Bachelor.
Salon decided to say men punching random women in New York City, a desperate last gasp of the male rage fueling MAGA. So they got to come out and speak bad about conservatives, and they have to speak bad about men in general. They don't say, oh, this is some criminals. Obviously, not all men are like this. This is just bad behavior on some of the, perhaps, the negative people in New York City are criminals or what. No, they go for men in general. And I'm like, you know what? That makes me really furious. But if you look down at the bottom, this was posted on Twitter. This has been viewed 1.7 million times. You can see that kind of right down here in the lower right. This has been, it doesn't mean 1.7 million people read the article. It just means 1.7 million people have scrolled past this on Twitter. Out of that, 189 people liked the post. 920 quote tweeted it, making fun of it, and another 4,100 left comments. And I can tell you right now, the comments on there were eat crap and basically expire yourself. Like, I hope you don't make it much longer. Because, so that's basically 5,000 people to 189, 5,000 finding this to be absolute dog drivel. And then I kind of felt like, you know what? I'm okay with this because this is really showing you how people feel about these trash websites. And then I realized something else. Salon, Variety, they're going to go the way of many other, all the other trash sites like Vice and everything else, and the BuzzFeeds. They're going to go the same direction. But what I didn't expect to think is, so is CNN. So is NPR, National Program. NPR, is that National Program Radio? I forget what it stands for. That's going away. That's getting trashed. And now you've got people, the usual suspects that I always talk about, Jimmy Dore and Russell Brand and Joe Rogan and other people on, just on YouTube or whatever. They're getting the views instead. And the media is lashing out because I've been seeing a lot of stories about the media, like mainstream media, calling out YouTubers and saying YouTubers are spreading disinfo, or YouTubers are not telling the truth, or these ultra right-wing conservative Russell Brand. And you're like, really, dude? It's because they realize that they're slowly being choked out by the independent creators. And that makes me very happy. Here's the actual story. Men punching random women in New York City, a desperate last gasp of the male rage-fueling MAGA. Random New York City attacks are an extreme manifestation of men feeling entitled to women's time and attention.
Now, what we have here is we have women in Western society and their simps attempting to say that all men are bad, all men are violent, all men are dangerous, and all men need to be surveilled, and giving more room to the reasons why. You have groups like the F to the B to the I now beginning to surveil the videos that men are watching on YouTube and other platforms, as well as surveilling men who play online games or who play games in general, observing what games they are purchasing, and then saying that, oh, well, you played this game, you played this many hours of this game, and people who play these games, we have an algorithm, are more likely to commit these types of acts within society. Do not have any doubt. Joker is right when he says that the mainstream media is, these are at least these groups like CNN and Vice. Vice is pretty much gone. BuzzFeed. Remember BuzzFeed? Like, what was the last time anyone talked about BuzzFeed? Many of these organizations have now passed away. Guys, you know what organization is also slipping? Is also rapidly declining? Disney. Disney is declining rapidly. However, if you look at Bob Iger, he did a recent interview and he was just very furious and he was like, "Oh, it doesn't seem like the public even understands what woke even means." And it's like we're not even putting out woke content, we're just putting out diverse content, and diverse content is not the same as being woke. So his attitude is like, "Shut up about it, stop talking about it, stop calling us woke." And he's basically furious because Disney cannot shake woke right now. They're basically just going to continue putting out more woke garbage. The next the next Captain America movie is on its way, I believe, and in the purpose that we're going to be seeing is what's his the guy who took over for Steve Rogers. It's unfortunate. It's really unfortunate, and I'll explain why. So me personally, I think that Bucky should have become the next Captain America. And my reasoning is because whatever it felt only natural after everything that Bucky had been through. I think that that would have completed his redemption arc and given him the ability to uh, to grow and to say, fine, you know what, I'm the new Captain America. This is my role. He is the one who should have held that shield. And while Sam is a great character, I think the actor is a great guy. I think it's just really ridiculous. In the comics, of course, his character did actually pick up the shield. Hawkeye did get the shield at some point. He did carry the shield at some point. But I just felt like right here, and we all know it, it was out of diversity. And the next MC, the next Captain America movie, evidently, that's going to star Hawkeye as the new Captain America is going to be kind of problematic because this basically will be a film where he's going to be rebuilding the Avengers. And of course, we know that the Avengers is going to be very, very female focused. So at least it's going to be focused around diversity. So it's not about having characters that that really resonate with people. It's going to just be entirely about having characters that unfortunately, and I'll say it again, unfortunately, are there just because of diversity and showing off, showing that every woman is can be Miss Marvel, Captain Marvel, and take down someone like Thanos. So, or it's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous, and that's very much where things are going. So it's not just these other smaller companies. It's not just CNN that's going away. Disney has done everything it possibly can to destroy its brand. And and of course you're like, Bob Iger, that the CEO of Disney, president, CEO, he's basically trying to say that, oh, we're focusing on getting back to telling stories that families enjoy. Guys, Disney is so messed up. Let's talk about this. Disney is so messed up right now. Like, they screwed up Disney so badly that the only MCU film coming out this year, and it's not even like a full MCU film because it technically takes place, I believe, in like it's the Fox universe. It is the Fox universe, but it's now joining the MCU, but it's still not entirely the MCU. It's not the MCU. I mean, maybe at the end of the movie they'll have done enough shenanigans to sort things out and, do the whole multiversal shift. You know where I'm going with this. Deadpool. And it's going to be a rated R movie. And that's a first for Disney. So Disney is talking about, going back to family values, and the entirety of Disney right now is writing on Deadpool, an R-rated movie that's filled with utmost degeneracy. And I love Deadpool, I really do. But think about this very carefully. This is how desperate Disney is. They've destroyed their brand so badly that Deadpool is like the entire MCU. They have nothing else. And if they screw up Deadpool, if they screw it up, it's I don't know. They really can't afford to screw it up, but I could still see them screwing it up and try to put some type of diversity in there. But so far it looks good. So far it looks pretty good. You've got Deadpool and Wolverine. It's so Hugh Jackman is back as Wolverine. He looks amazing. And it's Deadpool and Wolverine, It's Deadpool and Wolverine. So it's not entirely Deadpool 3. It is Deadpool 3, but it's like Deadpool and Wolverine. So I'm really excited for that. But I don't know, guys. It's just crazy. Like, these women are putting themselves out of work because these institutions are mostly held down by, women, CNN and all these leftist institutions, and Disney now has become basically, the MCU is the MCU, and that term was coined years ago. We saw this coming at the end of Endgame, where they had that shot of all the women, of all the female superheroes together. Yeah, like as if that wasn't convenient. That was basically them telling us this was it. Kids, like this is what's coming. Diversity is on the way. And the movies have just been absolutely awful going forward. Like the last hurrah for the MCU, which again is like there you it's like it was still a property that's a property that's owned by Sony, and at least in terms of the movie brand, Spider-Man, and that was it. Like Disney does not even own Spider-Man, and Spider-Man almost ended up leaving the MCU entirely. Let's not forget that. It almost ended up leaving the MCU entirely, and what's his name? The kid that plays Spider-Man, that's that Tom Holland, the guy that's in a relationship with Zendaya. He ended up calling Bob Iger and crying to Bob. I think he may have been drunk, calling Bob Iger and crying to Bob Iger that he doesn't want to leave Disney, and he doesn't want to do this anymore. And I think that was kind of one of the points where they realized like they were gonna have to do something, or they could end up losing Tom because he didn't want it. Because like the whole thing was originally he was cast by Marvel, so it's like it was kind of like a gray area. And that's when Bob basically decided to fold, and if he had not folded, it would have been a horrible decision because like I said, the properties that are carrying Disney right now are essentially properties that they originally did not own or don't even own. They don't own Spider-Man, and that's that property is a property that's somewhat carrying the company. And then Deadpool, which was originally owned by Fox, and it's important to say that because those are two different universes. That's also now carrying, like, it's completely carrying the MCU, if not the company. Like, there's almost nothing from Disney that people want to see right now. Look at what they did with Lightyear. They used Lightyear as a vehicle to promote diversity. And look what it did for them. It did terrible numbers. I don't even know. I don't even recall if Lightyear was even profitable. It should have been a 100% home run. And it wasn't. It absolutely wasn't. And why? Because they decided that it was going to be a vehicle for diversity. Like it's like they're getting desperate. Disney is getting desperate right now. Like Hulu, I don't care about Hulu. I could care less about Hulu. How is Disney Disney Plus was originally a great service because you could get Disney Plus and you would watch family movies on Disney Plus. That's what people wanted Disney Plus. I can watch family movies. I can watch Star Wars. Oh, what did they do to Star Wars? More diversity. And then you have this guy Bob Iger who's saying that, well, we're walking away from the whole woke, no more woke, focusing on families, focusing on making content that people want to watch. Bro, the next Star Wars film is starring Rey all over again. And it's like, what? Star Wars is a series about fathers and sons. That's what makes it interesting, guys. This is the greatest stories ever told have been stories about fathers and sons. The story of Jesus Christ is a story about fathers and sons. The story of Lucifer and God is a story about fathers and sons. The story of Adam, Eve, and God and what happened in the garden is a story about fathers and sons. And I'm not saying the story isn't true, but I'm just pointing out the greatest stories ever told, if not the greatest story ever told, the story of Jesus Christ is a story about fathers and sons. God has a sense of humor. Star Wars is I'm not making this up. This actually came from the creator of Star Wars, George Lucas. He said that it's always been a story about fathers and sons. And that's when it clicked for me. I read that maybe, I don't know how long ago, a year ago or so. And I was like, what? He's absolutely right. And that's most of the great guys. One Piece. What is One Piece? One Piece is a story about fathers and sons, even if they're not directly related. Luffy and the Pirate King, or his grandfather, and Joy Boy, and all these legacies. It's a story about fathers and sons. You guys remember Naruto? Guys, what is Naruto about? Naruto is a story about fathers and sons, and Naruto basically inheriting the legacy of all of these great men, specifically his father, who was considered to be one of the greatest Kages to ever live. A story about fathers and sons. Even the follow-up Boruto story. What is it about? It's a story. I hate Boruto. I know you guys hate it too, but it's a story about fathers and sons and his legacy of Boruto and his adopted son. His adopted son. His name just not coming to me right now. I liked him until he went absolutely ballistic. But you guys know who I'm talking about. But it's like they don't learn their lessons. They do not learn their lessons. And it's like everything is just being washed away and being remade in the image of for the sake of diversity, where you're taking away a male lead and then adding a female lead, or at best you get something where they just swap the races around and they're like, here you go, this is what you should be enjoying. Guys, look at what's happening with Japan right now, where you have IPs like Pokemon, swearing that they are going to become more diverse. And of course, they're not doing this in their country, but they're doing it in Western society. So anything that we get in Western society, it has to be more diverse. Like it's sick. When I watched the Mario movie, I only watched a little bit of it, and I just had a hard time watching it because they made Mario look like a simp. They turned Peaches, at least into the early part of the film, which is where I'm still at. They turned her into like a Power Ranger, and she's like doing the whole course, and like, can Mario keep up with her? And it's like all of these people were like, "Oh, the Mario movie was so awesome," and I don't hear people talking about this. They made Mario into a weakling. Like Mario was like at least the early stages of the movie. Peach is like she's dominating the course in the Mario Kingdom. Like, why do you even need Mario? Why don't you save your own damn kingdom? Guys, don't forget I also have another channel called Angry, where I discuss gaming, anime, geek stuff, nerd stuff, real world stuff, and whatever else interests me. There's a link to that channel in the description of the video. Go check it out. Subscribe to the channel. Support my work. And guys, I also have another channel called Men Walking Away, where I discuss topics like the topic you're listening to right now. If you're enjoying content on the Angry Guy channel, and you want even more content like this, head over to Men Walking Away, where you can find even more content like the content on the Angry Guy channel. So there's that for you. You can go head over to, you can find a link to the Men Walking Away channel description of the video. Go check it out, subscribe to the channel, support my work. Guys, what do you think about this? Leftist activist women are finished as they continue to destroy their own jobs. I want to hear your thoughts on this, so let's talk about it in the comments. Like the video if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you like the video, share the video. And just remember that all roads lead to MWA Men Walking Away. And cheers.